Have you ever looked around at 8 p.m. and realized half the office is still here, tapping on keyboards, rushing deadlines? In today's workplace, working overtime almost feels like a silent rule. But is it truly necessary? Or is it a sign that something deeper needs fixing? Let's dive into it. First, let's talk about why overtime happens so often. Because like it or not, people don't just stay late for fun. The first reason, heavy workload and deadlines. Sometimes the work is simply too much for a regular 8-hour day. Projects stack up, unexpected tasks pop out of nowhere, and deadlines don't shift just because your clock hits 6 p.m. In industries like consulting, tech, and finance, overtime feels almost baked into the culture. The second reason, poor time management or lack of focus. Honestly, not every overtime is noble. Sometimes procrastination during the day leads to rushing after hours. Meetings that could have been emails, distractions, and unclear priorities. They quietly steal the working hours and leave the real work until late evening. And the last one, company culture and unspoken pressure. In some workplaces, people stay late not because they need to, but because they feel they should. No one wants to be the first to leave when the boss is still sitting there. Slowly, looking busy after hours becomes part of survival, not success. Now that we see the reasons, let's face the bigger question. Is overtime truly helping us or hurting more than helping? Overtime might seem productive in the short term, finishing urgent reports, closing last-minute deals, but in the long run, the cost is huge. Burnout, falling productivity, even affecting health and personal relationships. Workplace studies show that after a certain point, longer hours don't mean better results. They just mean more tired people making more mistakes. Efficiency is not just about working longer, it's about working smarter. The real measure of performance isn't how late you stay, but how much real value you create during your working hours. And let's not forget, time for yourself, your family, and your mental health is not a luxury. It's a fuel that powers better work, sharper decisions, and longer-term success. So then, how do we deal with overtime without sacrificing our career growth or disappointing our teams? First, prioritize ruthlessly. Learn to separate urgent from important. Not every task deserves overtime attention. Focus on delivering what truly moves the needle. Second, set clear boundaries. Communicate with your boss and team about realistic timelines. Sometimes overtime is unavoidable, but it should be the exception, not the rule. Third, improve work processes. Automate repetitive tasks. Say no to unnecessary meetings. Streamline collaboration. Small improvements every day can save massive hours over the weeks. And finally, change the culture step by step. If you're a leader, show your team that productivity is respected more than presence. If you're a team member, be the example. Deliver great work in good time and leave proudly when it's done. Working overtime isn't always a badge of honor. Sometimes it's a quiet signal telling us that something needs to change in how we work, how we prioritize, and even how we define success. At the end of the day, it's not about being busy, it's about being valuable. Choose to master your time, protect your energy, and grow sustainably. Because a career is a marathon, not a sprint, and no good marathon ends with everyone collapsing halfway.